I'm Brad with Coastal Pools. I'm here with Mr. Rosemarin today. We just finished his pool and going to give him a little pool school and teach him how everything works here so he has a better understanding of all of his pool equipment. What we have here is the control panel. You have your high voltage breakers for your pumps and your heater and your lights. In the wintertime, these will all be turned off. In the event that the pumps need to be shut down for some reason and it's emergent, you can just throw those breakers off and shut the system down and call somebody to come out and take a look to fix whatever needs to be fixed. But under normal operation, all your controls will be from up top here. This is your low voltage side of this control panel. You'll see here that you have the F button, stands for filter pump. That's the main filter pump that circulates the water in the pool. You have cleaner, which is the booster pump for the pool cleaner. So robotic pool cleaner that'll go in the pool. It's not in there now because it doesn't get installed for the first 30 days. Once that gets installed, a program will be set up so that that cleaner runs every day. But if for some reason you need to turn it on manually, you can. It's always important to remember that the cleaner pump receives its water from the filter pump. So the filter pump always has to be turned on first, and then the cleaner pump can be turned on. In addition to, you also have a bubbler feature here. That's for your blower for the spa jets. And basically what that does is just adds, extra aeration to the jets while the spa is being used. Other things that it's going to give you here on this home screen is air temperature. Once it starts to run, it's going to give you the water temperature as well, the date and the time. So right now you'll see where it says auto and pool, lets you know that it's in pool mode. I'm going to press this V button. V stands for valves. And that button, when I press it, you're gonna see where it says now it's spa mode. You're gonna see that one more temperature has popped up here. It's a set temperature of 100 degrees. That would be the set temperature for the water in the spa. And you have some automated valves here that are moving on their own. So this one and that one on the far side. That's switching the system from pool mode to spa mode. So we've covered the filter pump, the cleaner pump, the air blower, and next we have pool lights. For lights, it's a similar process. We'll press menu, we'll scroll down to lights, select. We can scroll down to colors. If I wanted the pool lights specific color, I would go colors and press select. I can scroll down and select my color. For instance, we'll select red here. When I press select, we'll hear the unit start to click. The clicking of the relay inside of this is just the system talking to the lights to tell them what color we've selected. So the amount of clicks corresponds to the color. So the system just told the pool lights to light up red. We'll also notice that once it lights up, that the red LED light above the pool lights here, that indicator light is now on. I've just pressed back out to the menu, that'll stay on. If I just want to turn the pool lights off, I can simply press that number 3, and turn those lights off. I could also go back into the lights menu, press select, and I could scroll down to all off, and that would turn them off. If I wanted the lights just to come on and automatically go to whatever the last setting was that I asked them to go to, I can simply come over here and I can press this number for pool lights. When I press that, it'll turn them on. In this case, it's going to automatically turn them on to red because that's the last thing I asked the system to do. The other option that you have, you see that just above colors, it says modes. You can go into modes. You have party, romance, Caribbean, American, sunset, and royalty. Party mode, that's all your colors and it's going to cycle through them fast to get your party going, Romance mode is your deeper colors and it's going to cycle slow. Caribbean mode is going to be your brighter colors and it'll cycle through those. American mode is for your 4th of July party, red, white, and blue. You light that up and the pool will go red, white, and blue for you. So that's pretty simple. Modes and colors is going to be what you use the most. Whether you want to have a specific, mode set or a specific color. But again, if all you wanted to do was just turn the lights off or on and you didn't care what color or what mode, you can always just press the button and they'll come on and divert to whatever they were last told to do. So other function that you're going to use primarily is going to be heat. To turn on your heater, you're going to press the menu button. You'll scroll down to heat using these arrows over here. Once you get to heat, you'll press select. You have pool temp and source and spa temp and source. It allows you to set 2 different set points, whether you have the pool or the spa. Let's just say you're just using the pool right now. You're gonna press select. The temperature setting currently is at 88 degrees and the heat setting is off. If I wanted to turn that on, I would press select. When off flashes, I would use the arrows to turn up. Now it says heater, and I can press select, use the menu button to back out. And now you'll see that the heater icon is lit up in the top right corner, and you have a set point of 88 degrees. Current water temperature is 86 degrees, and the air temp is 87. To turn that off, I would just again go into menu, select, heat, select, pool temp and source, select, and I'm going to press select, and I'm going to turn the heat source from heater to off, and then press menu to back out to the home screen again, and you'll see that the heater icon from the top right corner is gone. Back to the home screen. Really, the last couple of things you'll need to do here are just in regards to like setting the date and the time and setting the schedules if you need to. So you press menu, scroll down, schedules, select. Right now you'll see that it says spa and 1, pool and 1, cleaner and 0. That tells you that there is 1 setting set for the spa, and that's going to have your spa set to run from 12:35 a.m. until 7:25 a.m. So that's going to run for just shy of 7 hours. So if you needed to do any adjustments there, you could come in and do that, and you'll see that the mode is schedule. You only ever want it to say 1 of 1. You don't want multiple programs set. So like if it said 1 of 4, that would mean you have 4 different programs set. And what happens oftentimes when people try to set their own programs, they might overlap, which ends up confusing the system, and it doesn't know when to turn off and turn on. So we only recommend setting 1 setting for it, just to keep anything from getting confused. You'll see down here, it gives you all the days, and if the little dash is above the day, it means it's gonna run. So right now it's 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 12:30. We'll back out of that. Right now it says cleaner and it says 0. That's the robot that goes in that cleans the bottom of the pool. We don't have a program set for that because it's not installed. We'll show you how to, basically all you have to do is just plug it in and put it in the pool. So that's really it. If you want it to, you can set programs for anything. So you could go to lights, for instance, and let's just say that you knew every Friday and Saturday you wanted to have a party by the pool and you want those lights to come on from 9 p.m. until 2 in the morning. You could set a program just for Friday and Saturday, and you could turn those lights on and have your party. Last thing that you really need to worry about in here, and you shouldn't have to worry about it much, is settings. You would just go to settings and you'll see that's where the clock setting is. Other than that, most of this other stuff is going to be stuff that your service company is going to take care of. The Pentair pump is adjusting pump speeds. The IntelliChlor is the salt chlorinating system. IntelliChem is not a feature on here. Other stuff in here is for like heat pumps and things like that that you don't have. But if you wanted to adjust the date and the time, you would just go into clock, select, and then it's pretty standard from there. So I'm going to back out of that. We're back to the home screen, and that's pretty much it. And for the first 3 years, you're under warranty on this stuff, and you would just call us. We'll move on to the pool equipment now and show you how that works. We're still here with Mr. Rosemarin today, and I'm going to show him what all of his pool equipment is here and how this stuff functions. We just covered the operational stuff through the Easy Touch panel and how to turn everything on. Now we're going to discuss what everything is. All right, so on the pool equipment here, the important thing to remember is that everything in front of the pump, and here's the pump. So everything in front of the pump is all water coming from the pool, or in this case, the pool and the spa, entering the filtration system. So you have main drains and you have skimmers all passing through these valves that are here into the pump. Once it passes through the pump, everything on this side is water going through the system and back to the pool or the spa. So it comes from here, passes through the multi-port valve, from the multi-port valve through the filter. Once it gets through there, your water will then pass through the heater, if you have one, through your salt cell,
through the booster pump, which drives your pool cleaner, and then it'll come back to this manifold where it returns to either the spa or the pool. Important thing to remember about these valves is the tab on the front says off. That off tab will point to whatever is off. So when it's out here in this position, it's pointing to nothing, which means everything is open, which in this case, that's what we want. Here, if we wanted to open this pump up, which we will, we can utilize this valve to turn off everything coming in, so that if we're below water level, we don't flood the pump. So I've turned that off. Now I can grab this lid here and give it a little tap, and that comes off. When that opens up, we can take this basket out, give the basket a little tap. You can free it from the debris that's inside of it. It's always important to remember with these baskets is you have a throat on the front. You want to make sure that that throat aligns with the pipe that's coming in. That allows the water to come in and the basket to trap the debris as it's coming in. If you were to force this thing in a different direction, this throat now over here will cause all the debris to back up in front of the pump and you can cause damage. So it's just important to make sure that the throat or the opening in front of the basket aligns with that valve or the pipe in front of the pump. With these lids, it's important to pay attention. There is an O-ring around the clear plastic piece. You always want to make sure that that O-ring is in place so that the pump seals properly. If that O-ring falls off and you try to seal the pump up, it won't seal and your pump won't prime. So with the O-ring in place, you can set the lid on like this, get it down, and then you take it and just give it a little turn to the side. You don't want it to get it too tight because you will have to get it off eventually. For your multi-port valve, it's important to remember that you never want to turn this valve while the pump is running. It even says so here in dark letters on the handle, shut off pump before operating valve. So with the pump off, you can push down on the handle and rotate the valve to whatever position you need. So in this case, I just turned it to backwash. If I were to backwash the filter, that's where I would want the valve to be. When I was done backwashing, I would take the handle with the pump off, lift it, and rotate it 180 degrees back to the filter position. When the water is passing through the filter, it's important to pay attention to this gauge here. This gauge will tell you whether the filter is clean or dirty. Typical clean filter pressure runs between 10 and 15 PSI. So we have this start arrow here pointed at the 10. When the pump's on, if it gets above the 20, it tells us that it's time to clean that filter. Over here with the salt system, when the system is running, these lights on the salt cell will light up green or red. When they're green, it indicates that it's working and functioning properly. If you get a light that's red, you want to pay attention to what it's next to and solve that problem. So in this case, you could have one that says the cold water light would come on red. That indicates the water temperature is too cold for the salt cell to properly function. There's not really much you can do about that except for wait for the water to warm up. And in the meantime, you'd want to use regular chlorine. You also have cell light and a flow light. Cell light just would indicate if the cell was clean or not. The flow light indicates if you have proper flow going through the cell. And then you have your salt level is either good or low. I just want to go over a commonly missed section of the pool heater operation. We plumb a heater bypass on every heater that we install, and this allows us to divert the flow of water either to the heater or bypassing the heater. And that's done utilizing two three-way valves in the system that you will find after the filter. So in this case, we have one right here, and we have one back here. And I'll show you now how those valves need to be turned. So in this case, we have water that's coming from the filter. And if this valve was turned in this position, it would be off and not allow my water to flow to my heater. In that case, with that one in that position, this valve back here would be in this position. And now you can see the flow of water comes directly from this valve through this pipe, passes right into the salt cell, and then back to the pour spa. So I'm going to turn the valves in the other direction now and show you what it looks like when the heater is not bypassed. So in this case here, I'm going to turn this valve here, and then this one I'm going to turn here, and you'll see very easily that those two off positions basically point to each other so that the bypass section of it is closed. And now what you'll see is that the water flow goes straight from the filter, comes through this valve, comes directly into the heater at the inlet, will pass through the heater, comes out the outlet below it through a check valve, and then it comes here and now takes the same direction again through the salt cell and back to the pour spa. And that's how you can tell whether the heater bypass is either open or closed.
So we can move over now and we can talk about the auto cover and how that functions. So now we're going to show you how the auto cover works. This part's actually pretty simple. This is a locked cover. So you'll want to leave one key somewhere where your pool service technician can access it so he can get the pool open, and then you'll keep one key somewhere safe so if it gets lost you have a backup. Basically you just turn this and this door opens and you have what's called a momentary switch here. It says uncover at the bottom and cover. Okay, this switch is strategically placed within full view of the pool for safety reasons. You don't want to be closing the cover and not be able to see the pool. Just in case there's somebody in there, you don't want to close them in there. So seeing as it's a momentary switch, I can't just hit this switch and walk away and the cover automatically do its thing. I have to stand here the whole time.
That's a safety feature.
Yes, sir. Stand here this whole time and hold this switch down. But as you can see, the cover itself moves along pretty quickly. And then opening it is just the exact opposite. You just flip the switch and hold it up. Or I'm sorry, that'd be closing it. Hold the switch up and it'll close that. So now we're going to go over the water testing with these quick strips here. You're going to see that this strip is going to give you readings for your pH, your free chlorine, your total alkalinity, and your chlorine stabilizer. These also will give you, if you look here, it says low and has indicator arrows, okay, and high. So it's going to tell you what the acceptable range is, and these strips are pretty easy to use. Just remember when you use one, we don't want to test the water at the surface because the water at the surface is being affected by multiple things. The sunlight being a major player in that is that the chlorine is going to get burnt out by the sun. So typically I'm going to want to take this strip and I'm going to go down as close to my elbow as I can in the depth of the water. So I'll do that now, and I'll just hold it there for a few seconds and I'll pull it back out. It's likely a lot of these readings are going to be pretty low currently because the pool is brand new and they're still working on balancing the chemistry. So you can see that you've got pH in a low range, chlorine is pretty much at 0, a low alkalinity, and a low stabilizer. Again, with the pool water being fresh, they haven't added much chemical to it yet. We want a low pH because the more acidic nature of the water helps to keep the plaster clean while it's curing. The low chlorine, we want just enough chlorine in the water to keep it clear, but we don't want so much chlorine that chlorine affects the color of the plaster wire. But again, these strips will give you a quick indicator of where everything is. There's nothing here that's so far out of range that it would be unsafe to swim, but long term, we want to see these levels start to come up in the next couple of weeks to get to a stable range, and that's pretty much it. So what I recommend is that even with a professional pool service, this is your investment. Nobody's going to care about it as much as you do. So even when you have a professional taking care of it, I suggest that you test the water professionally through another source once a month or so. You can go to your local pool store, your local hardware store, or you can utilize these test strips and you can test it yourself. You just want to make sure that the person that you've hired to take care of your pool and your investment is doing the right thing for you.
So now I'm going to show you how to net stuff off of the surface of the pool. You've got your deep pocket leaf rake here, slides right into the end of the pole. You have these 2 little tabs you depress, push those down and lock it into the pole. And now your leaf rake is installed, and you can just go around the perimeter of the pool just like this. You can skim anything you want right off of the top, just like that. If there's something more out towards the center of the pool, typically you'll take the net, put it out like that, flip it over, and just drag it back along the surface. You've got some grass and stuff here. We're just going to go ahead and skim right off the surface of the pool, just like that. This time of year, you're just going to get a lot of pollen on the pool. It'll only be for a few weeks, and then that'll decrease. You can also use this to pick stuff up off the bottom of the pool. So what you would do is just push it in, get it down to the bottom, and then typically what you're going to want to do is give a gentle push, and that's going to push a little bit of water underneath anything that's on the bottom, and it'll kind of kick it up. And once it kicks it up, I can pick it up in the net. So I just go along the bottom of the pool just like that with anything that's on the bottom, and that'll pick it up. Right now there's not really much on the bottom, so it's pretty clean, but that still gives you an idea how that works. For your pool project, feel free to visit our website at coastalpoolbuilders.net or give us a call in the office at 410-827-0888. Thank you.